it over to the analyst desk.
Thank you, gentlemen. I want to touch on exactly what Jat was talking about right there. This C9 found success in Game 1 with Meteos on Sejuani, able to make plays. He is a clutch player. Not that his Gragas play has been, incredibly subpar, but I think the Sejuani fits a little bit better with the idea that they need to be winning team fights. Yeah, right? That's how they're going to win this series.
The difference is Sejuani is an easier team fight champion, but Gragas has a little bit more early game pressure and a little bit more of a jungle bully for fighting.
Yeah, but the thing is, even though you have early pressure leads, well, guess what? It's a lane swap, so you're not getting a lot of gank pressure. Any jungler fits the bill in this kind of situation.
And then it comes down to the team fights.
Yeah, or when the ganks come in, Bjergsen outplays them anyway.
Yeah.
Right? Like, they're prioritizing Gragas and not getting anything out of the pick when they could be getting things out of Sejuani. The caster said it. Santorin is repeatedly out-farming Meteos here. Yeah, my brain went Maokai. I'm like, that's not the person. He's not named that. But yeah, and I mean, the funny thing is, this is what Meteos is known for. He was the big farm jungler back in 2013, and yet he's not fitting the bill anymore.
When your lanes are feeling so much pressure across the board, you feel like you have to make moves. You have to show up middle, or else it's going to get ganked.
Yeah, and that's the thing, though, is like Meteos is showing up places, but he keeps showing up in the same place over and over. Okay, yeah, he ganked Bjergsen the one time, and it barely failed. That was really close. He probably made the right choice here. But only once have we seen a matchup where there was actually kill pressure on Dyrus, which is Maokai into Lulu. Lulu is squishy. Maokai's point-and-click CC. Great. Next time around, Maokai into Sion. You're not going to kill Shield Max Sion. Next time around, Sion into Maokai. You're still not going to kill that guy, and yet they still gank Dyrus. And, like, look, you get him off the Lulu, and you put him under a turret, and you're not going to kill this tanky champion that Dyrus is playing. And C9's, like their goal coming into the game is just not a good goal.
Yeah, again, I wasn't particularly fond of the team composition here by Cloud9. Sion Gragas, okay, that's a fine frontline. Gragas has some playmaking ability, the ability to disengage as well. Braum, Sivir, Lulu, where's the damage on this team?
Sivir.
Yeah, I mean,
it's like your hyper carry, 80 carry Sivir, right? Like I feel if you're like Sneaky has proven that he can be a hyper carry. So if you're gonna put him in the position, like if you're gonna tell him he needs to do that, put him on a champion that makes it a bit easier for him.
Yeah, and I mean, the thing is, like, there's a world in which this works. I tend to agree in like 99% of situations, Sivir's a terrible pick. In terms of running like a big bruiser team, which is what this is, right? Braum plus 2 more tanks, a bunch of short-range champions. It was Urgot over in Game 1, almost the same comp. It's like, let's just make a really big, compact, short-range comp where Ricochet hits everyone. Yeah. And I just have a 2.1 AD ratio entire team nuke. That's by Ricochet, by the way, if you guys were wondering. That's pretty good, and then Sivir can actually start chunking people down, but right, it's not a Ludens Echo on the Lulu. Like, obviously, is it a... Or it's not even a Rod of Ages Maokai, because they're playing Sion here, so yeah. I mean, the team runs out of damage. A lot of weight in with Sivir's shoulders. It's pretty hard for her to lift that weight, so yeah, I don't really like it either.
Next up on the list here, we've got Lustboy playing Kennen again, showing he doesn't need to play with the Kalista in order to be effective. And again, this will call into question the 2 support bans by Cloud9, as Lustboy has said, fine, keep, at this point, keep throwing them at me. I will play Kennen. He still has Annie. We haven't seen that come out yet. So I would look for Cloud9 to pivot away from those support bans this time around and throw them at somebody else.
Well, I said it before this game. It's like, look, blue side is not very important unless you're actually pitching something usefully, right? And right now, it's like, okay, well, first pick or guy, okay, cool. That's actually an advantage for blue side. Good job, TSM, for using that. But Cloud9, right, they're sending all these bans at Lustboy and then not actually taxing him for it, right? If, like, I could replay this champ select in BC9, it would be, look, ban away like 2 of the junglers. If they first pick Urgot, I get the only good tank jungler left. Like, I get Sedge, you don't get Gragas, or vice versa. One of these things has to exist. But C9 aren't doing that. They're like, yeah, you first picked, and we punished you by taking one of the 2 junglers left up that everyone cares about. By the way, Sejuani is 3-0 in this series, and C9 gives that one away. Like, it just doesn't make sense, like, what the plan is here.
You could pinch junglers really hard.
Of course you can.
You could get Sejuani, Gragas, you could pick the Nunu first, or be like, oh, he plays a good Zac as well, and force Santorin onto a B-tier champion.
Right.
He might go with the Rek'Sai. He has played a good Nidalee, but that's the thing, is Santorin's so versatile that he can thrive on those champions.
Right, definitely looking for Cloud9 to make some strong pivots going into this next game. TSM, though, I want to look back at them because they're now finding success in this series. And as we mentioned before, in general, best of 5 series, they're really confident going into them. They're okay dropping the first game. They're going to use that to motivate. They're going to learn something about their opponents, and they're going to push through in the following games. They've now won the next 2, right? What changed? 1. What changed specifically that is allowing them to beat Cloud9 now? And then 2, what do they do here in Game 4 to close out the series?
Well, what they did in that first game where they had a lead and they were able to like lead early game, and then Cloud9 came back, right? They ended up pushing that lead even further this game, shutting down balls really hard, putting that team on tilt, and forcing them to make situations where it's like Sneaky has to backdoor an inhibitor. They went for team fights. So they're playing against a high wave clear composition with a low wave clear. Only Corki's really ranged wave clear here with the Urgot. And I assume that's what the Lulu was for on C9's side, was to counter that. But the fact that TSM is going for the team fights, as soon as they see the opening, they're forcing it. They're like, oh, Sneaky is not with the team. Start a fight. Start a fight as much as you can against this composition. So it's the team fights that I feel like they adapted from and moved away from disengage and went, we're the ones starting the fights. And that's why Sejuani, I think, is so good in this series.
Yeah, the hardcore engage is working, and just having a team that can actually just alpha people down. Right, C9, they won the game when they played Rod of Ages Maokai. I think, again, that was a very smart choice for that game. Braum built the run fast item. Yeah, Righteous Glory. They had a Sivir anyway, run fast item. Great. But right, they built 80 ability power on Maokai, who's going to go in there, absorb some damage, pop the ulti. There's extra damage coming out. Urgot's good front-loaded damage. Sivir, good front-loaded damage. And they alphaed people out. That's the kind of style that has been working so far. Luden's Echo Kog'Maw eventually scaled up, alphaed down the backline when a Sejuani ultimate hit. Seems like a bunch of burst at the very start is important. And then second to that, what C9 should adapt, though, is also their overall game plan. They're not killing Dyrus on tanks. Go try to kill Wild Turtle and Lustboy. Go try to actually gank Sneaky's lane when he's in the 2-on-2. Make those plays happen. If you're going for the Gragas, then actually use him to gank these important lanes.
All right, Cloud9, they found success in Game 1. We'll see if they can find it again in Game 4. Keep it tuned right here because TSM are just one game away from reclaiming North America's top spot. Our championship finals between Cloud9 and Team Solomid continue after this.